Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video on Prize Picks. Today I got plays for you for NFL, Monday Night Football, as well as some NBA plays. I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys my 4 sharpest plays in this video, so make sure you're locked in. Go ahead, drop a like on this video. Helps me out a ton. And now let's move into the winnable. So the winnable is where I drop free plays every single day, free plays and VIP plays. If you want to get in, it's completely free. Just hit the link in the description, winnable.com/bam. And if we want to go ahead and check out how the VIP did today, I'll show y'all. We had a five unit parlay, 5 units right here on the Rams -6.5 and the Seahawks +3.5. That cashed. Bears Bengals over 50. That cashed. This one just hooked. They had 47 points in the game. We needed 50 points. Pretty unlucky, but it is what it is. I still love the read. And then we had this lineup where we had Caleb Williams, 200 plus passing yards, cashed. He had 280 plus. Jared Goff also had 280 plus, cashed that. That was a 4 unit parlay, another huge cash. And then Seahawks money line, 2 units. We hit that one as well. So, well, actually, I say we hit that. The Seahawks are still live in their game right now, but they're up 31-7. So I think this one's pretty much done for now. Anyways, I'm just trying to get this video out for y'all early. That's why I'm recording this now instead of waiting until the game's all wrapped up. But let's talk about the Monday night game because we got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Arizona Cardinals in this one. So the Arizona Cardinals are very injured right now. Main guy that's injured is Kyler Murray, but we don't really need to worry about that. At least I feel personally. Jacoby Brissett is more than capable of matching that. The only thing that Kyler is better than Brissett at, or at least that's what it looks like this season, is running the football, right? Jacoby Brissett is not as much of a dual threat quarterback as Kyler is. We know Kyler's peak on as being a dual threat is absolutely huge. But let's go ahead and talk about what Jacoby Brissett can do, because what he can do is this: 320 yards against the Colts, 279 against the Packers. Now we know the Colts are a bad passing defense, right? This is not a surprise to anyone. They've got a great offense, the best in the NFL. But they've got a really bad passing defense, and a backup quarterback from the Cardinals can pop off against them. You're probably not a very solid passing defense. But good news is he doesn't have to go face a tough matchup now. He gets to go face up against another easy passing defense. So this blue line shows you when the pass defense was, if the blue line is up there, that basically means they're a really bad passing defense. And if the blue line is down, that means they're a good passing defense. So this was a massive spot where even though the Packers, if I can scroll out here, the Packers give up the 9th lowest passing yards allowed to quarterbacks. Like they're a top 10 passing defense in the NFL. Jacoby Brissett was still able to pop off and had 279 yards against them. That's a great sign. But now he plays against, as you can see right there, pass yards allowed, opponent stats 30 with a huge green box around that. That means the Dallas Cowboys are the third. They're allowing the third most passing yards to opposing quarterbacks over the season. And the yards per attempt allowed is huge. Press rate's 3, which means they press the quarterback a lot, but they're not able to defend what's out back there, right? So Jacoby Brissett to pop off is just a huge, solid play. He's started 2 games, and he's averaging 300 yards, 299 yards. That's ridiculous, right? Of course, super small sample size. You can't say it, but he's shown that he can do it twice now, and now he gets an even better matchup. Let's scroll around and let's see how have other quarterbacks faced against the Cowboys this season. So it started off with Jalen Hurts. Didn't have a great day. That was a super weird game, honestly. But Jalen Hurts is not the kind of guy to be a gunslinging quarterback. Then Russell Wilson and the Giants come through, drop 450 passing yards. Yeah, I didn't stutter. That was 450 passing yards. Then Caleb Williams drops 300. Jordan Love drops another 300. Justin Fields, the worst quarterback in the NFL, still comes out for 280. Bryce Young won this game. They won this game. That's why he didn't really pass for that much. But he still had 200 passing yards, which was pretty good for Bryce Young. Jaden Daniels was the only quarterback who absolutely flopped against the Cowboys. That was last week. But honestly, from what I've seen of Jaden Daniels, he just played on Sunday Night Football, where he's playing right now. He's not looking great, right? He's not looking at all like he did last year, leading the Commanders to a top 4 finish. But then, Bo Nix, I said that was last week. That was 2 weeks ago. That's on me. Bo Nix popped off 247 yards against the Dallas Cowboys. So more often than not, quarterbacks are hitting their over projections against the Cowboys. And quite a few times, they're not just hitting their projections, they're absolutely smashing them out of the water. So Jacoby Brissett, his line is 245 right now. I like it on the over. That is one of my favorite plays, one of my sharpest plays for the day. But before I keep going into those, I want to talk to you guys about how you can get free VIP. So I'm dropping a week pass for free to every single person who texts me the word VIP. So I put my number up here. Every single one of you guys who texts me the word VIP, I'm going to text you back and I'm going to get you guys on a free week of VIP. This is probably going to be a limited time offer. I can't afford to do this forever because I want to keep the VIP as unsaturated as possible so that we're only getting a few people on the best list possible. But VIP, text me that word at this number. What I'm going to do is help you get on one of these apps or a different one if you already have them all, and we're going to get you on a free week of VIP. Now, let's move into play number 2. This is another super solid play. We're hopping over to the NBA. I promise you, we're going to go back and talk about that Cowboys Cardinals game, but I can't let this play sit for that much longer. It's Alperen Sengun on the assists. So, for some reason, you're getting this at 6.5 at plus money. So for anyone saying, I'll only do minus 10,000 parlays, that's not true. We're taking a play at plus money right here. So you can get it at plus 114 on FanDuel. And honestly, if you want to, go ahead and move that down to 5.5, and you'll probably get a solid minus 130, minus 140 payout for it, which is huge for a line this solid. So he's hit every single game except for this one against the Nets, where he had 9 potential assists, 16 potential assists, 15 potential assists. You guys can see the numbers that he's putting up right here. This was one of his worst games right here. Only had 6 assists, but they won by 28 points. So why do you think he only had 6 assists? Because he probably didn't play that many important minutes towards the end of the game, right? Now he's going up against the Mavs. I want to say this one's going to be a close one, but honestly, with the way the Mavs have been playing, and with Anthony Davis, pretty sure AD is still out for this game. It might not be that close of a game. Coop's going to have to step up for him. I think that the Dallas Mavericks are going to be playing this game a lot smaller than they want to be, right? Anthony Davis, super solid big guy. He's out for this game. Cooper Flag is technically a big man, right? I mean, he's up there, but he's still a rookie trying to find his footing. I wouldn't consider him as dominant. Like, he's not the kind of guy to be able to box out a Steven Adams, be able to box out an Alperen Sengun, right? And then you look at the rest of their lineup. PJ's pretty tall. D'Angelo Russell's nothing. Max Christie's nothing. Klay Thompson's nothing. Daniel Gafford is there. And then, you scroll down. This is what I really need to talk about. This is the story of the game. AD out with an injury. Derek Lively out with an injury. Clint Capella might play. Pretty sure he's limited, right? So those are 3 of their most important big men in this game. So why do I think Alperen Sengun's going to feast? He's going to be able to get into the paint. And if you guys watch this man at all, you know he looks a lot like a certain 3-time MVP who's currently killing it out in Denver. He looks a lot like Nikola Jokic. The way that he's able to pick out any pass on the floor and just the way that he moves is very similar to Jokic. The way he takes threes, not frequently, but when he does, it's pretty confident and it's by a pretty good percentage. And the way that he's able to do that overhead pass literally wherever he wants to. Go ahead, watch some Alperen Sengun if you want to. I promise you, you will see the similarities between Jokic and Sengun. He is the next Jokic. I'm telling you guys, if he goes clear, that's exactly the comparisons we're going to be making. Now, Alperen Sengun at 6.5 is absolutely ridiculous. He's had 9 against the Toronto Raptors and 9 against the Boston Celtics. And if you look at the amount of minutes he's been playing in this game, he's good for 30-plus minutes a night. Easy, right? Potential assists against the Mavericks. I love using this box right here, but we had a very small sample size right now in the NBA, so there's not much to tell there. But this game against the Mavs, I think Alp's going to go into the paint, and players are going to crash on him. They're going to test his ability. Are you able to pass the ball? Because his finishing at the rim, it's okay, but you just can't let a big man like that go clear on the rim. So help defenders are going to come. He's going to be able to find that pass out to the shooters, whether it's Klay Thompson, whether it's Max Christie, PJ Washington, who's good for a couple threes, D'Angelo Russell, or even Cooper Flag, who's a very solid shooter in his own right. I'm saying the wrong team's guys right here. Alperen Sengun, those are the players on defense. Those are the the guys who were able to close in on him. I should have started with that. The Mavs are going to shoot a lot of threes this game. That was kind of the point I was trying to make, but I was kind of getting it confused with the Alperen Sengun play. Sengun's going to be able to pass the ball to these guys, and the Mavs on their other side of the floor, where Alp's going to be on defense, they're going to be shooting a lot of threes. That's exactly what I expect the Mavs are going to be doing in this game to try to keep up because they don't have big men. This is exactly what we just talked about. But that's enough about that. Let's move into another play. We're going over to the NFL. D-Book is now my play. That was from a previous day. This one seems to have reset. But we're going over to rushing yards. We're going over to my man JV. Javonte Williams in this one. So let's go ahead and check out opposing team rush yards allowed. So the couple times where he has missed in this one, he played a very tough Denver Broncos defense, one of the toughest in the league. Now he plays a middle of the pack Arizona Cardinals defense. Previously, he had a huge game against the Commanders, notoriously bad defense. Huge game against the Jets, same story. And even against a tough Packers defense, he was able to hit the line on the over right here, right? That's funny. It says they lost by 0 points. I know it was a tie, but surely you got to give him credit for that. It's a loss by 0, that ain't a thing. But let's go ahead and talk about how this has gone recently. The Cardinals have been very locked down. They stopped Josh Jacobs, but as we know, Josh Jacobs has been on the downtrend. Jonathan Taylor popped off against him, as he is good to do against basically any defense, except for some reason the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to hold him today. We're going to have to go ahead and check that tape later. Kenneth Walker, huge game against them. Tony Pollard, huge game against them. And then towards the beginning of the season was actually where they were more locked down, right? So as you guys can see, they've been really easing up on the running defense. And Javonte Williams, this is a perfect hit spot for him. And a lot of people are going to be taking the Cowboys on their passing offense, right? Everybody wants to say, well, George Pickens looked like a wide receiver 1, and now you add CeeDee Lamb on top of that. This surely is going to go clear. Dak Prescott looks like one of the best pocket passers in the league. And yes, I agree with all that. He does. But those lines are super high, and a guy who's just sliding under there is Javonte Williams, an RB1 who's looked ridiculous this entire season, needs 65 yards. Like, what are we doing, guys? This is a very sharp play, and I love Javonte Williams on the over at 64.5 yards. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the Sportsbook plays, because I'm going over to the NFL, and I'm going to show you guys, okay, well, as I'm talking about this, live lines have updated. Seahawks are now up 38-7. Cash the play. Seahawks money line was so free, guys. It was so free. That's the kind of free money you're going to be getting if you join the VIP. And it's completely free, so why wouldn't you? So the Dallas Cowboys are at home in this game. Money line right now sitting at minus 180. The total's at 53.5. Where do I like this spot? I like the alt lines on Onyx. So if you're not on Onyx yet, hop on with code BAM. They're going to give you a great deal. It's a play 10, and you get $100 for completely free. So make sure to download Onyx, use code BAM. It's probably available in your state. The best part about Onyx is exactly what I just pulled up. Look at all those alt lines. You have so many options right here. This is the kind of thing that on FanDuel, they don't really give you this many alt lines. And especially on other books like Novig and stuff, they'll give you like 2 or 3 max, right? So Onyx is coming in clutch here with like 20 alt lines, and we're going to mess around with it. We're going to talk about this, right? So we are obviously going to be looking at the over in this game, because you've got one of the worst defenses in football, the Dallas Cowboys, and Jacoby Brissett, who is more than capable of passing for 300 yards on him. Then you've got Javonte Williams, who is super solid at cutting up through defenses, and we didn't even talk about the man who all the cameras are going to have their eyes on him. It's CeeDee Lamb, because, like, let's just look at this real quick. CeeDee Lamb had great game, obviously injured in this game, then had a huge game, and then missed. Oh, why did he only have 74 yards? Only 74 yards. He was playing against the Denver Broncos defense, right? Denver Broncos, very tough defense, PS2. I know he got injured in that game, but played for a good amount of it. He was locking down CeeDee Lamb. Now they play against the Arizona Cardinals, who are allowing the 21st most receiving yards allowed. So CeeDee Lamb's going to go off. Why does this matter? This factors into whether we're going to take the over. Is it going to be a grind-out game, or is it going to be one with a lot of passing? And we know a lot of passing leads to the over. So if you don't believe that, pull up Bears versus Bengals. It just happened yesterday on Sunday. Pull that up. Check out the tape. A lot of passing leads to overs. Now, I like these spots specifically. So 46.5 if you want a minus 260, and then 51.5 if you want a minus 140. So these are the 2 spots I would be targeting, because I like the lines and the odds. Of course, you can't take those together, but I'm going to give you guys an idea of if I'm building out a little parlay, similar to the parlays we just built and absolutely smashed, by the way. 5-unit parlay here, 4-unit parlay here. What would I go ahead and do? I would take the over. And then, why are we taking the over? Let's remind ourselves. We're taking the over because we think there's going to be a lot of passing. We don't think, we know. We're very sure there's going to be a lot of passing. I don't want to say no because anything can happen. This is football. But let's go ahead and try to take an alt passing line play something like this is giving you a little bit of juice at minus 245. I don't exactly love that. Let's see if we can get it a little bit higher. There we go. Minus 135. Maybe we can pull that down for a little bit of extra security to minus 160. This is a very solid spot. So why do we think the over is going to hit? Because Jacoby Brissett is going to be able to absolutely dominate this Dallas Cowboys secondary. So we're taking those two things. This is not two separate things. This is not a random parlay. This is a correlated play. And we're saying because Jacoby Brissett's going to pass for a lot of yards, the over is going to hit. So we're binding those into one play. And even though each of these is a minus 260 play and a minus 280 play in their own right, we're getting a minus 160 play for basically the exact same thing. That's the method of correlation. That's why we're sweeping in VIP. Want to say sweeping? We actually missed one play. This one missed by 3 points. I can't say that word sweep. But look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 missed. 6 and 1. Absolutely insane day on the VIP. And it's completely free to join for the next week. So those are my few sharpest plays. If you appreciate the video, drop a like, drop a subscribe. I post every single day. And text me the word VIP to get on free VIP. Let's win some money on Monday.